issue. I'll give you an example in a second, so you lay it all out. Then you got to figure out what you're going to do with this stuff at the end. All right? What do you do with all the extra food you have? You know, there's food just all laid out on the ground. All kinds of different things. What are you going to do with it? All right? What we do, there's a couple of options. If you've flown into the race, in other words, if you're coming from London, you fly into Oceanside, you rent the van, you put all the stuff together, you have to buy all those little plastic bins and all the rest of that junk. You know, a lot of stuff you just knock a bike rack. You're probably not going to bring a bike rack over. Okay. So you're going to make these purchases. You go through the race, and what do you do with the stuff at the end of the race? Okay, at the end of the race, you will, some of the stuff you'll keep, and you need to figure out how you're going to get that back to wherever you are. The food, you're probably not. We will take at the finish line all the food because we donate that all to local charities. Okay, we will take like those pillows. There's, you know, those are cheap pillows from Kmart or whatever. We take at the finish pillows, sleeping bags, blankets. We'll take it all. We donate it to the homeless shelters. Okay, so a lot of the stuff that you see all gets donated locally in the city of Annapolis and Anne Arundel County at the end of the race. Some things we keep and take back. The plastic bins and things. We'll take a lot of those things back, and some of that stuff we'll bring to Oceanside, and it's available there for people who want to buy it, you know, rather than go to Walmart or places like that. So have a plan for what you're going to do with all your stuff at the end of the race. You can bring it home, you can donate it, what you're going to do. It's totally up to you. All the tires and tubes, okay, just find a neat place and throw them in somewhere in your vehicles. At the end of the race, give them to us. We recycle those. There's a group in Boulder that makes purses and all kinds of things out of recycled, bike parts. So, anyway. Okay, so that's the first part. Let's talk about what happens when you show up in Oceanside. It's kind of chaotic. It can be, overwhelming in some ways, especially if you've not been through it. All right. So, when do people show up in Oceanside? If you're from Europe and you don't have a desert handy to prep training or anything, what a lot of the European racers will do, particularly the ones that are competitive, will come over anywhere from a week early to a month early, and they will train out of the desert. They'll ride in that 100-degree heat every day. They'll climb, they'll ride pieces of the course, things like that. It's not practical for most people, but we recommend not coming at the last minute. Come early enough to get in a little riding. And so what's going to happen here is the crew's going to do all the work. The racers are going to go ride their bikes every day. All right. You want to keep your fitness up. You're not going to go on long 3-hour, 5-hour rides, but you're going to go on short rides. We highly recommend riding the route. The first go maybe up to 50 miles of the route up to Time Station 1. It's a good idea. You can ride up and down the coast, look at the ocean, enjoy the scenery. Let the crew do all the work. So first thing you do, check in at the registration office. Then you go through, you get your and schedule. You do all your stuff. You've done your schedule. You're going to go through the inspections. You're going to get photographed. You're going to get interviewed, etc. Yes.
So what did you say? What did you say? We should arrive at Oceanside if you're not. If you are.
Yeah. Don't go for a 3 or a 5-hour bike ride. Okay. What you're trying to do as the racers, when the racers show up in Oceanside, come there early enough to kind of acclimatize, if you will. You want to be there 3-4 days early at least. And the racers are going to ride every day, all right? And typically, and everybody's training program is different, but it's all about periodicity and cycles within cycles. You don't train for Ram by going on 1,000-mile bike rides. What you do is, this is a bit of a diversion, but and please stop me if you've heard all this stuff, but training for Ram doesn't mean you need to put in, the 6 months before the race, 10,000, 12,000 miles. You can train for Ram and be in absolute top shape riding probably 5,000 to 8,000 miles a year, which is doable for most people who have a job. But the way you're going to train is the broadest thing, the broadest look at it is some base miles at the front end. Then you're going to increase the intensity of those miles, and then you're going to kind of taper off your training at the end. And so what happens is you're going to you're going to build the base miles, you're going to work into that process. Maybe the longest ride you would need to do is, well, like I did for the UMCA Cross State record. It was 600-700 miles, but I did that once. The biggest weeks I had were maybe on average about 100 to 200 miles a day for a week, but that's unusual. Most of the training you'll ride, a week would be 20 to 30 miles a day with maybe 100 to 150 mile ride on the weekend and then 1 day off. But you're building miles. You're not doing intensity at the first couple of months of training, January, February. March, you're going to do that transition maybe into more intensity, and then it becomes intervals. That's how you get fast, intervals. Everybody says, well, there's two secrets to Ram if you want to go fast. One of them, everybody asked Pete Benceris, how'd you set that record? How did you go so fast on Ram? Didn't get off the bike. Simple as that. The other thing about it is, if you want to get fast, you want to be able to maximize the time off the bike, notwithstanding what Pete says, but you want to maximize that sleep, that's time off the bike. Time off the bike equals sleep, that's what you're striving for. And the way you get more of that is by being able to ride faster when you're on the bike. And the way you get faster when you're on the bike is intervals. It's just like regular racing. That's kind of what you need to do.
But when should the crew actually show up at Ram?
Same thing. The crew should come together probably 3 days before the race. And a lot of it depends. If you drive your own vehicle out, it's already set up. Like we didn't need to show up 3 days before because we did, but we didn't need to because everything's all set up. It was all back race set up, everything in the garage. All we had to do is put the numbers, we already had the reflective tape on the bike and everything, no problem. All we had to do is put the numbers on the, on the vehicles and that. We were ready to go. Yeah.
Since you're talking a little bit about training, can you, you're thinking about elderly training? How necessary is it? Does everybody have to do it, or can you?
Well, it's almost impossible for some people. Rob Kish, who raced Ram 20 times, finished 19 times. By the way, it's really easy to get the disease. It is, you look at somebody and you go, what's wrong with that dude? 20 times. But I can tell you, it's like on these earlier slides, I'm riding for me, if we finished it in Annapolis, or in Atlantic City, both years I raced. But I'm sure, what these guys are thinking about today is riding into Annapolis. It's like, oh God, well, this is alternating with, I can do this faster, I can take an hour. If I do this and I don't do that, I can take 2 hours off there. And you've already mapped out your race strategy and you haven't even finished the first race yet. That's what happens. You just get sucked right into it because you know you can do better. It's hard as a rookie because there's so many things you don't know. But when you get through it, you go, then you want to come back and do it a little faster.